it is all winners, all stars, Jorge. I mean, I have to make some kind of an effort. You, on the other hand, could have worn pants, I'm just saying. Oh, hey! Hi, dolls! It's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of the premiere episode of All Stars 7, All Winners, the queen of all queens, and I am not talking Fran Drescher. But before we get started, I want to say I love all these queens. Some I've known for so long now, they're like family. They are all unique in their own ways, and although sometimes that uniqueness may rub some the wrong way, I am just so grateful to each and every one of them for being part of my favorite show and helping make it one of the greatest reality series of all times. Sure, it has its flaws, but it's still a hoot and a holler, I'm just saying. So seriously, here's to every... I don't even have a drink yet. All right, before we get to Jorge, I just want to say, not all of us are going to agree with each other over this series, and I try to be as fair as I can when I'm giving my opinions, because they are opinions. It's not like I'm a judge or anything. Before we do get started, I have a Tipperdoo to thank. Tim Eller. Thanks, Tim. You're a doll. Seriously. I also have a Redbubble model to ooh and ah over. Oh, that handsome devil. It's Justin Likeletter modeling his Lara de Souza Miss Wilma t-shirt. Now, Justin wanted to let you all know he's from Wisconsin, which makes him a border buddy to Canada, among other things, I'm sure. He's also 40 and single. So look him up on Instagram. He just started his first Instagram page. Seriously. And you might as well friend him now before his Redbubble modeling career takes off. Seriously. Now, if you'd like to be a Redbubble model, just tag me on Twitter or Instagram with a picture of yourself in or with your Wilma merch. And if you'd like to get some Wilma merch and or become a Tipperdoo, the links for that are down below. Now, Jorge, drink me! Oh, Pucker Central, I'm just saying. Oh, that pucker's fresh. Fresh, cold, and tart. All right, I was so excited for this series, I can't tell you. And what better way to kick it off than to have the first queen through the workroom doors be, and needing no introductions whatsoever, All Stars 5 winner Shea Coulee, wearing my favorite color. I know I'm not wearing it now, but I love orange, I'm just going to say. And I'm also going to go ahead and say it. We're all winners when Shea Coulee is on Drag Race, eh? Her runways aren't just legendary, they're anticipated with bated breath. Seriously, this queen is also a star in the challenges, and on top of all that, she's an absolute doll. Unless, of course, you vote for her to leave. Then you're on your own. Also, don't mention roses, seriously. Joining Shea was the winner of Season 12. Look over there! Jada Essence Hall. She wasn't just the winner. She was also the trade of her season. Look how cute. Here's another queen who's going to eat up that catwalk. And after missing her post-crowning tour, you know Miss Jada's itching to show off. Seriously. You could tell these two queens are friends, but Shea wasn't going to let that stop her from winning that crown. Jada, on the other hand, was just looking forward to acting the fool. Good for her. And then, in a shower of laughter, appeared Season 11 winner Evie Oddly. I'm excited for this queen's return. Although she only won one challenge on her season, she was never boring, especially on that runway. I'm excited to see what she's brought this time around for sure. Shea Coulee better be prepared, is all I'm saying. I love that Jada read Evie's wig right out of the gate, flopping all around as it was. I would have loved it more if she'd actually said it to her face, but damn it, that Jada's a lady. Let's see how long that lasts. Fourth, into the workroom, was All Stars 4 co-winner Trinity the Tuck. Although she looked great, I didn't particularly like this entrance look, only because it gave me memories of Charlie Hyde. Just me? Still, I have to say, if I were a queen entering that workroom and I saw Trinity in there, I'd be worried. Even though it was all laughs and smiles as the queen said hello, No one has their eyes on this prize more than this queen. I'd hate to get between Trinity and a crown is all I'm saying, especially when she has to share the title. Apparently, being part of history as one of only 2 people to ever tie for a win on any series or season of Drag Race isn't enough for the Tuck. She wants to win one on her own. I get that. And speaking of being only one of 2 queens to ever tie for a win, the other queen to do it was next through the workroom doors in a shower of money, the co-winner of All Stars 4, Monet Exchange, looking gorgeous in red and black. I'm just going to say it. This was one of my favorite entrance looks so far. I just love red and black plaid. So Canadian. Seriously. It may have been all the kisses and cuddles as Monet greeted the queens, but as the other co-winner in the room, Monet was ready for a solo win too. Well, all right. Winner of the best entrance line of the night goes to the winner of Drag Race Season 5, Jinx Monsoon. And I'm not going to lie, I'm beyond excited to see Jinx in this cast. She'd barely done anything before she won Drag Race, and now she's been everywhere. Twice! And brought the house down while doing it. I predict that more than a couple of queens will be wishing they could vote her off the island before all is said and done. Seriously. Season 3 winner Raja slapped my whole face with her entrance look. Wow, did she look fantastic. The other queens seemed genuinely thrilled to see her, but no one looked particularly worried. I can see why Raja's worried about it being more than 10 years since she was last on the show, because either these queens didn't see her as a threat, or they just weren't threatened. Next into the workroom, the first ever winner of Drag Race UK, the Vivian, or Viv for short. Screw her, I'm just calling her Vivi. I loved the wig. The outfit itself looked a little demure if you ask me, but I liked that teamed with those palazzo pants and that horny wig, she looked ready to rumble right then and there. Of course she did. She's from Liverpool. And there we have it, our 8-queen cast for All Star 7. Or so I thought, because much to everyone's surprise, in walked a fabulous hat and a gorgeous pair of legs. No one could see the queen's face, and they were worried. So they should be. It was, gasp, Raven! What was she doing there? A surprise 9th contestant? Who was doing Rue's face if she was going to compete? Obviously, I was filled with questions, but I will say this. I was super excited at the notion of Raven showing these queens how it's done. Seriously. But still, except for an Emmy, Raven wasn't an actual winner on Drag Race, and it felt like the other queens were trying to find a gentle way of pointing this out to her, because no matter how she spun it, shoulda, coulda, woulda ain't gonna cut it. Certainly not with these queens. Just saying. Thank goodness Rue showed up before things could get ugly, and she seemed as surprised to see Raven in the workroom as the rest of the queens. There was this whole mommy dearest slap scene between them both, and, well, then it was obvious that Raven wasn't competing. She was just there trying to make the competing queens sweat a little. Well, mission accomplished. And then Rue dropped the second bomb. No one this season was going to be eliminated. Instead of voting each other out, the top 2 queens each and every week will be receiving Legendary Legend stars, and the winner of the lip sync will be able to block a queen from winning a star the following week. The top 4 star earners by the end of the series will compete in the finale to see who will snatch the All Winners All Stars crown and be named the Queen of All Queens. Well, this gagged everyone. I'm so serious. I was just thrilled that we would be able to see these queens sparkle and shine right to the finale, which, let's be honest, is a win for everyone. Well, at least everyone watching. But that wasn't all. Rue had more news. The winner of All Winners All Stars would be taking home $200,000. And there was great rejoicing. Who wouldn't? So, with those dollars dancing in their eyes, Rue laid this week's mini challenge on the queens. The library was open because reading is what? Fundamental. And Bruno was there with the reading glasses. At least I think he had the reading glasses. I hadn't really gotten up that far, to be sure. Hey, Bruno. Now, because this is All Stars and because most of these queens have worked with each other, I was expecting some low down dirty shade, but I have to say, I thought the queens would have done better. Shea went first, and I have to say she was pretty tame with her reads, although her calling Vivi the season's diversity hire was cute. I'm just gonna say. Jada did a little better, but then she went in a little deeper, unlike Evie Oddly, who was surprisingly tame too, if you ask me. Trinity went in too, and although she got a few chuckles, I think her best moment was when she gave Raja the boot. Monet surprised me because I thought she would have been funnier, although her comparing Jinx's teeth to the size and color diversity of the cast was genius, just to say. Speaking of Jinx, the uncrowned queen of the RuPaul Haters Roast Tour was next, and as expected, she killed it. Right out of the gate, she called Raja Raja, and that was enough for me to give Jinx the win. Seriously, I did a pink pucker spit take. It was so funny. I may have to call Raja Raja for the rest of the season. She won't mind, right? Roger, ironically, was next, and she more or less called everyone boogers, and then walked. Well, at least she got a laugh. Vivi was next, and as a good Brit from Liverpool, she did a great job. I'd say she was the second best of the night, seriously. But as far as Ru was concerned, it was Jinx Monsoon who drew a line in the sand by being the first queen to win a prize on All-Star 7. $2,500 to be precise. And then Ru told them about this week's Maxi Challenge. They would be creating choreography and writing their own verses to Ru's new song, Legends. But before they could get started, Ru had one more legendary queen for them to meet. And as you can imagine, this thrilled the queens. And with a quick trip to the main stage, Ru introduced the queens to the beyond legendary Naomi Campbell. Oh my God, I almost cried. I was so surprised. So you can imagine the gagging the cast were doing. Shea in particularly looked like she was going to never recover from this. Bless her. And then, thrill of thrills, Naomi Campbell personally gave the queens a masterclass in putting the bass in their walk. Well, clearly this was the best day ever for everyone, and Naomi gave them all really good advice for stomping that runway. But the best moment had to be when Shea Coulee walked in front of her. Shea was obviously emotional over being in front of someone who'd influenced her drag so much, and Naomi was so gracious about it. Hell, Trinity's not the only one who shed a tear. It was a really touching moment. Seriously. Do we have napkins? And then it was back to reality and the workroom, where the queens finally got out of their drag. Well, except for Evie, who, well, got out of everything. But then, it's not her first time hanging around with the queens. Did you see what I did there? As the queens started working on their lyrics, they also started strategizing. Jada had it right. Because none of them were going home, they could take bigger chances in the challenges. This seemed to get the other queens' juices flowing. As the queens headed to the runway to work on their choreography, it was agreed that Trinity would be in charge of the choreography, much to her chagrin. Hell, they need someone to blame if it all goes tits up, and Lord knows she brought them. Clearly, the queens were kidding about putting Trinity in charge, but if you ask me, she would have been better than the no choreographer approach that was taken. Because they're all stars, everyone had an idea about how it should all go, and, well, it quickly became confusing. Thank goodness Shea took over unofficially. She seemed to wrangle the queens into some form of graceful, coordinated movement without stepping on any toes. Which is amazing, because those queens have big feet. The next day, as the queens got ready for their performance and the runway, they discussed strategy some more. Specifically, who they'd be blocking. Shea said that she targeted the weaker queens in All-Stars 5, but because this time it was all about collecting stars, she thought it would be better to block a stronger queen. Trinity, for one, seemed to agree wholeheartedly. Idiot. Speaking of strategy, Monet and Trinity talked about starting an alliance to get them both to the finale so they could duke it out one final time for a solo win. Hey, it's not the worst idea. Jada talked about what it was like to win during the pandemic in her living room and to not tour after, and feeling closed off from the sisterhood. She got emotional saying how being part of All-Star 7 proved that she deserved to be there. It was a great kumbaya moment, absolutely for everyone. Seriously, here's to Jada. I love her. And then it was time to head to the main stage where Ru was rocking a graphic unitard. And I'm not talking about Michelle Visage. Carson was looking dapper as usual. And joining them on the judges panel was the ageless Cameron Diaz. Seriously, she doesn't age. And then, for some reason, we had Ru lip sync to her newest song, Give Them What They Want. As pointless as this was, I have to say, I love it when Ru performs. What can I say? It's nice to see her trying. And then it was the All-Star 7 Queens' turn to perform Legends. I liked this performance. Everyone did well, but I have to say, the standouts for me were Jinx, because her lyrics were great. Monet did an excellent job too, as if she wouldn't. And Shea Coulee looked amazing during her solo as well. If I had to pick a fourth, I'd have to put Trinity in there too. I would have included Evie Oddly, but I have to ask, what the hell was she thinking with that wig? Seriously. And then it was time for the runway. Category is Ungrounding. Roger went first and set the tone for this runway beautifully. Her take on Louis XIV was breathtaking, so I had no trouble giving her a Fingerdoo. Seriously. Jinx was next, looking all kinds of regal despite that hoary leg that kept poking its way out on the runway, so I gave her a well-deserved Fingerdoo too. Seriously. I have to say, Monet's runway was my fave of the night. Her urban take on a classic silhouette was stunning. That tracksuit with the pannier cages on her hips and the crown woven into her do was too delicious not to give her a Fingerdoo. Seriously. Mr. Monet, well done. Rock it out. If size really matters, then Trinity won this runway. Her outfit may have been hard to walk in, but it gave us all time to take it in. Seriously, look at that train. Holy crap. How could you not give it a Fingerdoo? Seriously. Evie's look was fabulous, if not completely original. Didn't she wear something like it in season 11? Still, she looks so good. I still gave her a Fingerdoo. Vivi's burlap and twine ensemble was stunning. So guess what? Fingerdoo for Vivi. Jada's Marie Antoinette wig made out of white dreadlocks was so inspired. And based on that wig, I gave her a Fingerdoo. Not that the rest of it wasn't cute too, I'm just saying. Finally, Shea took the runway in one of the most gag-worthy looks ever. Her African queen with the braided crown and the prosthetic earlobes was absolutely worthy of a Fingerdoo. Maybe 2 or 3 Fingerdoos, I'm just going to say. It was good. As far as the judges were concerned, all the queens killed it, but Trinity stood out, not only for her stunning runway, but for her performance as well. They all called her a star, which, well, tickled Trinity because she admitted that she couldn't remember the lyrics to the song, and she wrote them. Evie stood out for Michelle as well, but it was because of that wig she wore. Still, I didn't hear Michelle actually say she hated it. Of course, Shea Coulee was another standout for the judges. She gave Cameron Diaz chills during the performance, and, of course, her runway was, what did Carson call it? Grandeur. Well, he wasn't lying. As the queens relaxed in the Untucked Lounge, there was an air of relief as the queens seemed to relax into the fact that no matter what, no one was going to be eliminated. Because no one was going to be eliminated, there was no need for strategy. So the queens more or less just stroked each other's egos. I mean, how many times can you tell somebody they look good? I'm asking you. Cameron Diaz surprised the queens with a visit. She looks fantastic. She seemed to be the biggest fangirl in the room. It's obvious she just loves Drag Race. Here's to Cameron Diaz, seriously. And then it was time for the queens to head back to the main stage. But because they didn't know who was going to be lip-syncing for their legacy, most of the queens decided to change into more dance-friendly outfits. Good for them. Back on the main stage, Ru announced that the top 2 queens of the week were Shea Coulee and Monet Exchange, earning them both a legendary legend star, and they had to lip-sync for their legacy to Ella Fitzgerald's legendary jazz interpretation of Old MacDonald. If this is the first time of you hearing this song. You need to find the full version and listen to it. It is delicious. And this was an excellent lip sync to watch too, because it wasn't a dancey song. Monet couldn't rely on her legendary moves. It was all down to lip syncing and performing. And they both did a fantastic job. But when the music died, it was Shea Coulee who snatched the $10,000 tip and the ability to block a queen from getting a legendary legend star next week. Who did Shea block with the platinum plunger, which was very much gold? Gag. It was Trinity the Tuck. Clearly, Shea has a death wish. So, what did you think of the first episode of All Winners All-Stars 7? Let me know in the comments down below. Did the right two queens land in the top? Did Shea use strategy to block Trinity, or was it personal? And if not Trinity, who else should Shea have blocked? At least no one is going home. Or is that a good thing? All we can do is tune into RuPaul's Drag Race next week to see how it all plays out, and then when you're done, you come on back and see me so you and I can compare notes. Now, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and check out my links in the description box for ways that you can help support me and my channel. Until next time, miss me! Seriously, what a great first episode. None of them leaving. They'll all be building grudges. Who blocked me, who didn't block me. Next week is the Snatch Game. Sweet Marie and the Ships at Sea. There are so many heavy hitters from Snatch Game wins in this cast. I can't wait to see what they all do. Seriously, I don't think that there's one. Well, Evie had a rough snatch. But Trinity's always been great. Shea did Flava Flav last time. Jinx. Oh my God, she was the first. Well, I think Tatiana killed that first Snatch Game with her Britney Spears, but Jinx, oh my God, little Edie. Not only was it great, but it got a lot of people to look up Grey Gardens. Seriously. How do you not know Grey Gardens in this day and age? Oh, youth.